You already know Bob. He is going to present on. That's you. So he's going to present on YouTube resources. And then meanwhile, I'm going to pass these around because I forgot to pass them around.
Take one again. Yeah. Make sure it's your call sign on the back of that. Hi, it's me again. And just kind of put together a quick program for this evening on how I learned to make a ham on YouTube. And this program is strictly based on the opinions and limited knowledge of a no-code amateur extra and does not necessarily reflect the knowledge base of W0TLM Club or its members. So there. That's the official disclaimer. So if you go to the internet, there's plenty of information out there on amateur radio. Not too surprising, as we are kind of a technical hobby. You can type in any subject you want, any thought, any question, any search engine, and you're going to get an onslaught. But be careful, not every response to your search may be applicable or even accurate as far as descriptions go. And you're the one that's going to have to discern and try to weed out what is right for you. And ask around the club. A good starting place, Rex puts out a great weekly newsletter. And if you read the whole newsletter, you go down towards the bottom of it, there's all types of internet information, all types of club, I guess we're not recording. We're just trying to get rid of it.
We are recording.
Oh, okay. So we're going to pause for the recording. But anyway, the weekly newsletter has a lot of great information on it. Ham University, college classes, junior college classes, different clubs that do YouTube seminars, put information up, and can get that. Get recommendations. But again, remember, everybody has an opinion. And what's good for me may not be good for you. That's the old, as I always say with the ham morsels, engineer somebody versus history major somebody. So you never know what you're going to get. Is this what you want to get rid of up here?
Yeah, that's what I want.
Is that on mine? It's here. I don't know. But some of the sites that I frequent is Ham Nation for one, our own YouTube page, W0TLM, does have a YouTube page. KM4ACK, Jason, he's got a lot of great programs on Raspberry Pi. There's another YouTube page and podcast called 100 Watts in a Wire. As I explained before, that's how I operate. So I'm into that. W4EEY, Amateur Extra class, is what I took before I got my extra. You want that? Okay.
It's fine.
KE0OG, Aggies, Dave Kassler, from out on the Western Slope. He's just got everything under the sun there. And thanks to Lauren for programs, because some of these presenters have been at our club meetings. So not only are they on YouTube, but they come see us. So I know there's plenty of others out there. And if you guys know of some, then we'll let you have your input later. So what I'm going to go through is.
Hi, I'm Gary, Whiskey 4, Echo, Echo, Yankee.
And the first one I got is Ham Nation, and Amanda Alden. Hopefully this goes. There we go. QRZ. Amanda's from Canyon City. She's one of these YouTubers that is on Ham Nation, and she came up, her and her husband did a presentation to the club for us. She hosts and co-produces Ham Nation. You can see here, here's a link to the YouTube page, Ham Radio Crash Course. I'll get back to that Ham Radio or Ham Nation. That's her and her husband there. They have a lot of fun on the radio. They have a ladies' night. And what I found back in the good old days, I don't know how many of you have ever watched the TV show Last Man Standing with Tim Allen. She actually, over here, got on the air with a young man who I believe got his general. Tim Allen also has his license. So they had a great special event for Last Man Standing to work a lot of states. I forget how many there are, but they had that. And while I was here, you know, just looking for Amanda's webpage, it tickled my brain and said, oh, wait a minute, QRZ itself has a bunch of links to YouTubes. You know, every month they have information up there. You can click on different folks that are talking about different products, different specific radios. They have a whole section where you can go in and, you know, here's a guy that does soda activation, Boats on the Air, which was on QST magazine. Has all that. So it's just a really good resource for you. And then Ham Nation itself, I'm not going to play that because we're going to get some feedback. But more importantly than listening to the first couple of minutes of Ham Nation is these are all YouTube videos you can click into. If you haven't been to a boot camp, they have boot camps. They have Hamvention videos. You know, like these are like an hour long, so I'm not going to play the whole video. I was hoping to play some of the beginnings of it, but you know, we're having some audio problems here. There's one, there's even, I thought it was right in here, but like a Ham Nation on field day and tips on how to operate on field day. So about anything you want to do, you ought to be able to find, you know, on one of those YouTube videos. They're just a really great source. And of course, our YouTube page for the club. We have YouTube videos that are the recordings of these presentations that we have at our monthly meetings. And you can go to that channel and see, look, oh, there we are operating out in the field. Here's the April club meeting with Stephen trying to hear everybody. You know, so you can go down. Here's even Ham Morsels meeting. You know, how to do a copper J pole. So whatever presentations we have here at the club, you know, I used to take notes all the time, and then all of a sudden I said, why am I taking notes? It's all recorded right here. And you can just click on any of these presentations and you got a link to YouTube on that. And we just have a great group of presenters that Lauren does such a good job of getting them. So, you know, I was thinking that I wonder how many people we offer. You know, do you like Mexican food? We'll take you out to Mexican dinner if you come up and be a presenter for us. You know, and who knows who may fly in from Illinois for a good Mexican dinner.
With margaritas or without?
What's the bylaw say on the club budget? Is this like business travel for defense contractor? Probably with KM4ACK, Jason, he did a presentation for us. Again, he specializes mainly in Raspberry Pi information.
Welcome back, guys. This is Jason, KM4ACK. Today, let's talk about where to start if you just got a Raspberry Pi. Stick around and we'll get right to it.
He has portable trainings. He did a CODA.
All right, so this is a video that I have done in the past, so it might be a repeat if you've been around the channel for a while, but there's a lot of new subscribers on the channel, and I'm getting more and more emails pertaining to this very question. So I wanted to kind of readdress it. The last time we filmed, Strict is still the main operating system for the Raspberry Pi, and now we've moved on to Buster. So let's take just a few minutes and discuss this. If you just got your Raspberry Pi, you're going to have three choices of operating system to install on your Pi. If you go over to the raspberrypi.org website and click on downloads, and then you'll see that you've got Buster, I believe it's called the full version.
Has his own,
and that'll include basically everything and the kitchen sink. Now there's another version, customized the same with Liberty Desktop only, and that's the one I prefer to run.
T-Mobile 5G home internet is here
it's familiar to us,
with a 15-minute
but
setup.
it limits the extra things that get installed. The third option is Buster Lite, and you probably want to steer clear of that unless you really know what you're doing and have a very specific project in mind for that. Also, I would avoid the new download. I've just never had good luck with it. It seems like something is always interfering when we go to run one of the scripts or do something. I'm not exactly sure what's different about that. I just know to kind of avoid that one. All right, so now that you've got the operating system on your Raspberry Pi, we need to ask ourselves, how are we going to use this Raspberry Pi? Are we just going to leave it in the shack connected to the radio and use it from the shack and never take it portable? Well, you can probably skip things like the GPS or the real-time clock. However, if you're going to go portable with it, the Raspberry Pi does not have a real-time clock built in. So what this means is if you shut your Pi down and you boot it back up, say a week later, and it's not connected to the internet, your time will be off by the week that it was shut down. So in between the boots, whatever the time was when you shut the Pi down, that's going to be the time when you bring it back up. Now, again, if you're in the shack, this is not a big deal. You're constantly connected to the internet. It's going to grab that time off of the internet and you're good to go. However, if you plan to take this thing out into the field and you're going to work with things like JS8 call or WSJTX, where time is critical to make those contacts happen, then we've got to look at another source to get time while we're in the field. There's two options to do that. We can do that with a GPS dongle that'll plug into one of the USB ports on the back, or we can do that with a real-time clock module. Either one of those will help us to gain or keep accurate time while we're in the field. And if you want a little bit of redundancy, you can always do both. Now, another question we need to ask ourselves is, how do we intend to power our Pi? By default, the Raspberry Pi comes with, the Pi 4 comes with a USB-C connector on the side of it. So we're going to need, if we're working in the field, we need to worry about converting 12 volts down to the 5 volts that the Pi needs. So we're going to have to take some sort.
Okay, you got it now.
Welcome to.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully that works.
Good now.
Okay. We got everybody shut off. All right. So, and one of the things that I liked about W4EEY and their club, what they did on it, they had PowerPoints that you could save, print off, so you had a study guide document to go along with their video. And for a history major, it really is nice to be able to go, what'd you say about a Smith chart? What'd you say about a Smith chart? Keep going back. And then I should have kept going because they said, well, there's only 4 math questions on the test. And I go, why'd you tell me to buy this handheld? Never mind. So another, I highly recommend it if you want to upgrade, and then they also have Dave Castro. And then last, but certainly not least, KE0OG, Dave Castler. Ask Dave. There is now an Ask Dave column, if you're a member of ARRL, in QST magazine. And what's nice about Dave is you got about every subject under the sun, under the rainbow, under the mountain, through the woods, whatever you want. You can go to his YouTube channel, put in a subject like, how do I crimp Anderson power poles? And it's there. He lives over in Ridgeway, Colorado. And as often as I go to you, Ray, he says he's on this repeater out of Montrose, and I've yet to, over the last 4 years, be able to get to talk to him. Of course, I would like to take him out for a cup of coffee. There's what I have linked here that we're hoping would at least give us some information on what Dave does. This is his Ask Dave.
We're trying?
Yep, let's try it.
We're trying.
I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with episode 106 of Ask Dave. There are few subjects in ham radio more interesting than antennas. Your station antenna is the real workhorse that makes radio work. For hams with a new general class license, the sheer variety can be baffling. It's possible to get antenna kits from retailers for costs in the $50 range, or you can pay over $700 for an all-band vertical. Which antenna is right for you? Well, the short answer is that there isn't a short answer. For a first HF antenna, I recommend something full size if you possibly can. Let's focus this video on what might seem like a simple question: a vertical or a horizontal antenna? That means a vertical antenna versus a dipole. First, let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of
And now, computer.
This is meeting.
Yeah, so hopefully that works a little bit better. Here we go. And I thought that would be a great introduction. It's a 15-minute video on vertical versus dipole, and I was hoping that would work to kind of do an introduction for folks on what we're going to do on tech. We're going to talk about antennas.
Hopefully answer that question.
And hopefully answer that question without feedback at that time. And even some of the things that Dave does, they're very simple. He has a whole series on the technician test, and he goes through the ARRL book on the tech, the general, the extra. And even though I recommend that North Carolina group for the 1 hour, he does 15-minute, 20-minute section on that extra and goes through question by question that'll be on the test and does a very good job of explaining it. But like I said, I've gone to him to say, you know, how do I really crimp for an Anderson power pole? And believe it or not, first time it works. But you can go to him on a Smith's chart, and I still don't know. You know, so I mean, it all depends what you want, but not just because he's a Colorado kind of guy, but he does have a lot of good information. He's an excellent teacher. As you can see, he's pretty casual. But in the it's kind of funny. Let me see if I find. When he's teaching, it's like here on the. Let me get this one. Oh wait. So here Dave is in a blue shirt, and he'll go through his videos, and like this introduction, he'll say, when I'm in the blue shirt, that information has not changed. When you see me in the yellow shirt, that is the new information for the new test. So, I mean, it's really, you know, it really is a lot of fun, you know, the way he goes through it. And I said, I was thinking of doing this, and you can see though, it's a 35-minute video on the basics of antennas for the X-ray. So I didn't want to get, I wanted to play a little bit of the videos just so we get a flavor of it, but we're having some challenges again with that audio. So fortunately, we're ahead of schedule on that. But here's some things, you know, why am I tuning my antenna over here on the side? Why are we using coax that's 50 ohm? Oh, here's SWR demystified in a pink shirt. And when he's in a blue shirt, it's the new updated information. So he's got, you know, SWR. One of the things that I found encouraging and helped me decide on that 7300 is that he has that as his reference station. So when he's referencing what to do on HF, how to set up your HF, do whatever, he's using an ICOM 7300. So literally he takes. I found this on the web. Go away. I see 7300 from ICOM. Siri, go to sleep. But he literally takes the 7300 out of the box and goes through with you step by step of that radio coming out of the box that initially set it up. And he's gone through the firmware update, how to do it properly. And I still haven't done it. But, you know, I mean, he goes through really everything bit by bit. He goes through like handhelds from the Baofeng to Icons and Yaesus and everything else, pros and cons of whatever you want. So it's really answers a lot of questions. He gets pretty basic, and he can get, you know, pretty well detailed about things. But even, you know, here's your antennas for difficult situations. European mag loops. Why some verticals have radials and others don't. which is one thing that we've talked about with our Parks on the Air activation. For POTA, a couple of us have the Wolf River coil that we use, and it comes with 3 30-foot radios. Depending on who you talk to, some people have cut those 30-foot in half and have 6 15-foot radios. One school of thought, more radials is better than longer radios. So really, it's basically whatever works. Yes, sir.
Have you run into cases where other cases where you've gotten conflicting information depending on who you're listening to?
Yeah, but I don't keep it in my brain. I just, I get conflicting information on subjects. I'm one of those positive thinkers. So if something's bad in my brain, it gets flushed out pretty quick. And, it's a matter of, did I bookmark it? Can I come back to it? Not so much as it's bad information or good information. And like, usually my first stop is Castler or Ham Nation on stuff. And I'll do the search within those YouTube videos. I guess the bad information ones are ones that were too confusing for me because I don't know other than you got this 3-pine plug and you plug it in the wall. And then you got this little red and black thing, power pole that you click together and it goes into your battery and magic happens. Well, I'm one of those kind of guys. But, if it's too technical for me, it's bad info. Because I have to go back through my extra handbook and look at, wow, what formula is that? What is it? Now, how do I do that? How do I put that into that calculator? Type thing. And I want to have fun. I don't have time to dig into it. But I know a lot of other folks, really like ham radio for the technical aspects of it and want to, build Linux computers. And I got a computer that's on the list to do. I'm having more fun playing POTA right now than I am. Which leads me to the last slide, which is that's a few of my YouTube videos, few of the websites where I have gotten information that I've either taken or ignored. How about you folks? Do you have any channels that you like to go to, or how do you do your research? What information other than the club helps you out? Daryl.
First, it's specific to a certain style of POTA activation, but his call sign is K4SW. He films his entire POTA activation.
I know that call sign, I just don't know why. Call sign. Fortunately, SW. Yeah, I have talked to him before. He uploads the club log and all that. So yeah, that's a good way to do it. There's another guy, I can't think of his call sign, Pastor Phil out of Texas. He's got a lot of YouTube videos. And I had one, he told me, "You're on YouTube, Bob." He says, "You'll be up tonight." So we had YouTube tonight. And I was like, halfway through his activation, and I could hear me. Wow, I really was 5'9" in the Galveston, type thing.
On the technical side, my favorite is into AEG. So, AEW.
Yeah, Alan.
He's an engineer type.
Yeah, that's
and does some remarkable
Just let it go to
videos
me.
on test gear, how to use oscilloscopes, different types of thing. He does some stuff on circuits. He just explains simple circuit. If you've got a technical bent,
So he even has it on his QRZ site. You can go check out the YouTube channel. Technical coordinator for North Jersey. Okay. We have one of those technical coordinators in the back of the room. How about? Nope, he's texting. So, and there's a link to his YouTubes.
one area where I caveat is if you're trying to set up a new application or a new mode of operation, that's where you a bunch of conflicting. A number of different ways to do it. Verify if you've got an FTDX 3000, you're trying to set up live or digital modes. There are going to be different ways to do it. Not all of them work for you. So don't be discouraged if you're following something. Find something else. You probably something you missed that got left out of it,
Exactly.
which is pretty common.
Yeah, and that's why I said it's up to you to be discerning. It's up to you to be your own filter for what it is. You know, put in HT antennas. And you have 3 million pages in the Amazon, you know, with it. And then there's like 4,000 Amazon HT antennas. You know, and then that's where I say, come back to the club, come back to folks here. Put out, I've noticed recently, you know, Larry as one of the owner guys, Lauren, on our email list, people will put out, I have a question about this, you know, and they'll get 4 or 5 answers, club members, you know, on there. So, you know, our Google list is a great way to reach out. If you've talked to somebody here, you know, like Trisha encouraged me, she goes, come on, we got to go do a POTA active. We did that. Michael, we got to go out and do a POTA. Okay. Oh, you got a Wolf River coil. Oh man, I like that. That's easy to hook up. Guess who has a Wolf River coil now? You know, because I wasn't shooting stuff through trees. Because fortunately, I was at some spot where there weren't any trees. So then what do you do with your one if you don't have a tree to go over? So, you know, and there's a lot of other portable antennas. And then even like in that case, on that antenna's website and on the Wolf River coil and the Chameleon, the 2 HF antennas I have. Both of those websites have YouTube channels. They have links to other information. And then, you know, again, you can put in a search engine what to go. For me, I broke a cable on my mag mount and I didn't know whether to somehow put the coax back together or get a new antenna. I talked to Bob. Bob says, without hesitation, get a new antenna. Oh, okay. Comet makes good. Okay. Guess who has a Comet mag mount is now in my ham shack on a cookie sheet. So it's my road antenna and my base station. So I mean, it's like connect with people, talk to them. Don't worry about asking questions. You know, I know a couple of guys in here I've just connected with on a friendly aspect and asked a question, and we got on the air. We got in the air. Wasn't a lot of technical about it, but gee, I did this, now it works. And it was like Monty, for example, I can't remember whether you called me, texted me, or whatever, and said, I can't get anything on 20 meters. well, it sounds like you got everything set up right. Let's go down to 80 meters. And he did that, and we were able to get across town because that 20 meters was bouncing over top of it. You know, and that's just two guys trying to figure out, oh, I get it now. And the brain trust between me and him, it got it. You know, Monty's on there, worked all states now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so, you know, so it's just, don't get frustrated, try to have a good time, and don't be afraid to talk. You know, it's like Carol and Lauren came up with two people, I wouldn't have been. Larry. Amateur.
Amateur logic. A whole series, college, advice. Where all that we have videos, discussion.
Yeah, I say it must be pretty good if they've been 17 years.
One of the gentlemen was
So there you go. So
also
yeah, we have one of those in our club, but he's just a lowly advanced.
never beyond.
Never change. So there's that. Miss Weedy.
Yeah, so it seems to me that the whole YouTube thing in particular is, it's gone from being kind of sparse to there's just
Exactly.
way too much stuff out there. I've often, so now the challenge is finding. I've often thought that a really good club put yourself in the shoes of a clinician. What are the 10? Then go find the YouTube. You could create additional video too, but there's probably one out there, but it needs to be curated to go searching around and find the ones that are really good, because there's a lot of bad stuff too. Or maybe it's not bad, but the story they're trying to tell is, you know, for an audience, what they think is important, whatever, different. I don't know, it could be somebody wanted to useful curating. Newbie especially.
That's what one of the things Lauren was asking me for the presentation is, you know, where have you gotten bad websites? And it's like me being the idiot that I am, is if I didn't understand what they were saying, it was a bad website. And I don't remember what it is because I went on it once. And like you were saying, Bob, there are some YouTube channels where, you know, the guy's smoking a cigar, drinking a bourbon, and, you know, talking about fishing before he gets to telling you about an Anderson power pole. You know,
Yeah,
and then,
a lot of
you know,
them want to be personal.
yeah, they want to be
They
radio
want
and
to have
TV.
a relationship with their viewers. Okay,
Yeah,
that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But then that leads you to, you get 10 minutes of fluff on. Come on, tell me something useful. You know?
Yeah. And that's where usually at about 5 minutes, I'm click next, you know, type thing. But yeah, so it's, you know, it's a challenge to say the least, to clearly identify YouTube channels that don't get the point across very well, because it may get across well for you, but not for me. So that's where I'm saying you got to be discerning and you know, maybe just fair warning, there's a lot of junk out there and there's a lot of good stuff out there. And before you take the word as gospel from what they're preaching on their radio, especially if you're new or you got a question you just thought of, think about it, put it out on the Google email and say, hey, I just found this information on this, what do you think? And you'll get feedback, right?
Don't invest after watching.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, don't get analysis paralysis either, but, you know, get this Blitzkrieg 3500 guaranteed on 4 watts to get you to Antarctica. Wow, well, I heard was Antarctica. I don't know anything else. You know, so I mean, yeah, so I mean, don't be afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid to go to Google groups, put out the question, put out, you know, here's the question I asked on the net. I got this kind of response. Does anybody have an opinion? And you'll have 72 emails answering 72 different videos. So yeah, but you know, it's worth a try, you know, worth to do. Very good point, Robert. Anybody else? Well, that's all I had for this. So.
Let's all thank Bob. Bob found out he was going to do this presentation Friday. Thus, we did not get to practice this whole audio thing, and that's why it didn't work out well. But thanks, Bob, for stepping
Oh, no
up at the
problem.
very last minute.